that gate right there is actually a pretty good indicator of how wide this bike is. You know, there easily can be less space than that in a lot of situations when you're trying to split lanes. So it's actually kind of interesting, and I'm gonna ask Sage that we have this we have that included in the videos, because yeah, I want you guys to get a good perspective of the size of these bikes. The purpose of these test rides and why we're even doing them, putting miles on the bike, is to make sure that, hey, you know what you're getting yourself into. It's a good fit. We don't want you to get married to anything that's just plain sucks for you, honestly. Wow, the sound on this thing is incredible, by the way. Oh yeah, oh yeah, that's how a Harley should sound right there. Okay, so the handlebars, honestly, first impression I personally would not go this high. I wouldn't say it's just like the human body is gonna find this uncomfortable. You know, I'd say it's less uncomfortable and more just not my style. It's a little bit wider than I'd like. I do kind of like the look of it, weirdly, but just the placement of the bars themselves are just wouldn't work for me, you know. But that's me. There are plenty of guys out there that ride much higher bars and are just fine. But comfort wise, you know, what I'm trying to say here is that comfort wise, it's not bad. You know, it's right there in front of my arm, just a little bit wider than I'd like. And I'm sure this little crinkle here kind of does something different. Oh yeah, easy acceleration onto the highway, absolutely no issues getting up to speed here. Zero problems with that. Oh, sorry everybody. Still gonna equate it with some of these switches. So the gear indicator is right down there. Honestly, it's kind of hard to see, but it's easier just to feel. You know, I can feel like I'm just at the top of the gear I want to be at. We're gonna shift into 6 just for usability purposes, show you that it works. Yeah, so this is a Milwaukee-Eight Street Glide. This is definitely a lot smoother than the 103s of the older era, which I appreciate personally as a 4-cylinder sport bike rider. But as a Harley rider, you might miss the 103 big shaking, you know, bike days, and I will say it feels like it's starting to come to an end. Maneuverability wise, this thing honestly turns just fine. I feel like somebody who's coming over from a sport bike, you know, sure, are you gonna miss some of the turn angles that you can have? Absolutely. You're gonna start to drag floorboard before you know it. You know, but when it comes to just general usability of the bikes, you cannot hate on a Harley, man. This thing is just so comfortable and smooth. I'm even gonna go down a gear on that. Stable. So honestly, let's talk about weight, the big elephant in the room with some of these bikes. Yeah, this bike is definitely not light, but I will say this, everything is predictable and low. That's what I like about Harleys. You know, low seat height. If you know how to drag the rear brake on this bike, really weight is of no concern. It shouldn't be. If you don't know how to drag rear brake and do low speed maneuvers, then quite simply a full dress Harley is just not the right bike for you. These things are heavy, they're clunky, the clutch is definitely heavy. You have to just know what you're doing, and there's a lot of torque on here. So, you know, don't get me wrong, it's not as fast as a sport bike, but it will happily light this rear tire up if you decide to whiskey throttle this bike. So someone with experience is what I'm saying, who will be happy on this bike. Someone with experience. Let's make sure this radio works, by the way. It's only right. Hey, another one bites the dust. I'm not gonna lie, I feel pretty tough on this thing. Here goes some bumps. Comfort. Oh. Honestly, not bad. Ate up those bumps like nothing. feeling pretty tough on this thing. I can't lie.
1015 KGB.
I feel like I'm looking down on the rest of the world.
We are launching into Money on the 20.
I wanted to get out of there, obviously. Didn't want to get stuck between the cars now. That wouldn't be good for me or the bike. And yeah, that situation definitely gave me a chance to show, man, this thing absolutely pulls off the line. I love it. It pulls off the line. So if you feel like you're worried about getting caught up in a big situation because of how big the bike is, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Oh, it'll get you out of there. Yeah, these new Milwaukee-Eight sound way different, man. They have a much different feel to them. They have a much different boogie to them. And if that's your cup of tea, then, you know, how I can best describe it is, yeah, literally just more, a little bit more smooth. You know, less of this rumble you see at the light. You know, my hand is pretty much stationary. It's not jumping up and down like it normally does on a big Harley like this. So yeah, the Milwaukee-Eights are different. Man, this clutch is really something to get used to. So far I'm seeing a trend that with these bigger Harleys, it really is just this heavy clutch pull. I'm noticing that they're back on hydraulic now. I know that they had some issues with hydraulic clutches for a while. I guess they're back on it. Yeah, honestly, I'm feeling pretty tough on this bike. I'm not feeling comfortable splitting that lane, so I'm just gonna go ahead and hang out back here, talk some more about the bike. So this bike actually, I think we got this on sale, but I love the red on this. You know, just the radio smoothness. Overall, this was a nice experience. You know, feels like I could definitely ride this bike for hours on the highway. I'm kind of sad that I can't right now. I would love to ride this to Temecula from here. By the way, I love the 15. Unless you're catching it in traffic, my God, if you know what I'm talking about, the 15 to the 215 interchange just gets absolutely soggy with traffic at certain times in the day. But yeah, there's so much good riding over there in Temecula and Marietta area. Some of the back roads, if you know where you are in Temecula, you can have a good time with a Harley. So yeah, final thoughts. I thought that this bike was really smooth, really comfortable, actually pretty predictable for what we're doing. I really wanted to see how this bike responds to counter steer, and so far so good. I feel absolutely comfortable on this thing.